And going back to what we were mentioning before is making sure that all of the content hits that person. Mm-hmm. So for example, you mentioned how you had a couple of episodes that were amazing and people noted it. They told you about it. They were excited about it. And then there were some others that didn't really hit the spot for that human being, that avatar, that perfect listener, their psychographics, demographics, geographics. And so the podcast wasn't really strong. Mm-hmm. And people think, I'm going to be broad. Like the listener probably, and you, when you very first started, is thinking, I want to help everybody. I can help anyone. And then what happens is we put out content and a few pieces of that content are great. And a few of them are okay, but for other people. And what the listener does is says, ooh, that was a great episode. And then they come to the next one and they're like, this isn't really like specific for me. I don't really need to know this. This isn't hitting my psychographics. And so they're going to say, I want to find something that does. And so they leave your podcast, even though you've got a couple of great episodes for them. When you have others that don't, they leave. And you've probably heard this if you listen to the show. There's a lot of people that are syndicators. This just means I raise private capital. And they think I want to help people that are raising capital and closing on deals and finding deals. And I want to go, and I think I can also help the passive investor who just wants to be a limited partner and do nothing but leverage other people's time. And so neither person is going to stay on the podcast. And that's such a huge mistake. Mm-hmm. I want to help this person and I want to help this person. But half the time, this person is saying, it's not really for me. And the other half the time, the other one's saying, it's not really for me. So what ends up happening, neither person listens.
Yes.
You got to be real focused.
So that's my clientele, real estate investors. And one of the parts of the thing that we're always doing when we're going through their brand strategy, and that's the thing that changed everything for me, Adam, is learning brand strategy. Before I had been a graphic designer who learned to do website design, who learned to do copywriting. Like everyone else, I'm learning how to do branding backwards because that's the way we experience it, but that's not the way that it's built. So with all of my clients, they're getting on podcasts. Yeah, I've been on 30, I've been on 100 podcasts. And then I ask them, how many of them were not other real estate syndicators? None. Okay. So I'm like, are you getting in front of your investor? And they're like, no. It's like, okay, so that's where we need to focus on. And it's the same thing for creating the content. A lot of my clients are podcasters as well. They're learning through it, but they're sharing what they're learning. And that's not necessarily what their investor wants to hear. And so again, they're not getting traction. So one of the biggest things that helped me shift and say, okay, I know what I'm doing with my podcast now. So I learned brand strategy at a deep level and applied it. And that told me exactly what it is that I needed to do instead. And I formulated my own philosophy around branding with all of that I've learned, all the books, all the courses, all the personal experience, is that branding is R.E.D, R-E-D, not the color. Branding can be any color that you want it to be, but R.E.D stands for reputation, experience, and distinction. So right away, when I was recreating my podcast, I knew who it was that I was going after. It was like, what reputation do I want to build for myself? What do I need to be known as? Who is my client looking for? Like, what type of personality are they looking for? Who fulfills this role for them? And then their experience. How can I make this a really great experience for them? Entertaining, relaxing, giving them what they want, cutting out the fluff, all that kind of stuff. And then distinction. What makes me different from anyone else in the industry? Why would they listen to me? When we go through those pieces, then we know, okay, I know what I need to create.